Welcome back to Studio F, where on Fast Times with Willy B, we'll be reviewing Hitman. Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Russell?
Welcome back to Fast Times with Willy B. I'm Willy B. I got Drew back. Drew, how we doing?
I'm here. I'm good. I appreciate you having me back on. It's refreshing. It's not Marvel. Maybe.
Yeah, we got you on for, a rom-com action thriller?
Yeah.
If you just throw every genre in the book there.
Just a fun movie, let's be honest.
Oh, super fun movie. So today we'll be reviewing Hitman, the latest movie from Richard Linklater. Everybody in the friend group knows I'm a dazed and confused fiend. So
Absolutely.
This movie, you know, knowing that he's directing it, I had a little bit of more interest going into this one than probably most. Bummed to see, you know, it's not getting a theater release, but this one released to Netflix. It got limited theater release, but we don't live in a place that gets those limited releases.
Nope. We get lucky for the big movies where we're from.
But we got Glenn Powell as our lead. He plays Gary and Ron. We got Adria Arona. She plays Madison, who is our love interest, also part of the thriller. And then we got Austin Emilio, who's probably the third biggest character in this movie, playing Jasper, who's almost our villainous character.
Yeah.
Amongst a bunch of others, but really Glenn Powell, obviously, the one that sticks out when you think of the big names.
It's a three-man show for this.
Yeah. So let's start with the good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good. This movie, you know, you see the scores, you see that it's #1 in Netflix. You don't know, how much of that you can take to grant.
Right.
You know.
Because Netflix has been dry for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was telling Will before the pod started, me and my girlfriend, we're big just homebodies. So it'd be like stay in bed, watching movies. And it was getting tough. We're skipping through Netflix, Amazon Prime, all the different streaming services. And I saw Hitman, and I was like, oh, that's new. Let's try this out. Pleasant surprise for me. I saw Glenn Powell. He did good in Anyone But You.
Yes.
So
he
I
was
was
my
excited.
standout in that movie.
Oh, for sure.
Blew me away once again. I think the acting overall was really good. I don't think there was a bad performance in this movie.
Yeah.
But Glenn Powell continues to impress me. In Anyone But You, he was my standout. He had a minor role in Top Gun Maverick, and I thought he was amazing as Hangman.
Yeah, I thought he was good in that too.
And I know he was in a movie called Devotion that came out early last year that I didn't get to see, but I heard he was amazing in it.
Jonathan Majors was in that. I didn't watch that.
But I've heard great things about it. I still need to watch it. It just slipped away last year when it came out. But, you know, Glenn Powell just continues to impress. And, you know, in this movie he plays this nerdy professor who on the side helps New Orleans Police Department by setting up mics and cameras, but then he gets thrown into being a fake hitman in the sting operation. And we get some various colorful characters that he plays because he really embodies his role as this fake hitman.
Dude,
he
range
stylizes it based on who he's going after.
I mean, he looks like a stud one time, then he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer the other time.
And then he's a hillbilly shooting discs out in the country with an old man.
Just Glenn Powell's range and all the different characters he plays was just phenomenal.
Yes, he was amazing. He, once again, is the standout. And the main fake hitman he plays throughout this movie is Ron, because Ron meets up with Madison, our main, our love interest, and he steers her in the right direction rather than continuing the sting operation. And then it turns into a romance, and then it turns into some, thrilling drama going on here. But so we basically get to follow this entire movie between Gary and Ron.
Right.
But we still see a lot of range into these characters that he plays in this first act.
Oh, absolutely. Then when he plays Ron, he's like, oh, people are liking this character. So, he doesn't do the same, but, you get hints of Ron.
Yeah.
Then when he was at court the one time, he goes, what would Ron do?
Yeah. And he stands up for himself, and it kind of changes his life.
Yeah.
And it was just interesting to see him bounce back and forth between this professor and how he changed as a professor as he got more into the character of Ron until Ron was just the new Gary.
Yeah.
It was really cool. I thought he did a fantastic job. I thought Madison, Adria Arona, was awesome as well. She, the scene where he goes to bust her, but he's showing her that scene was insane.
Yes.
Talk about great acting.
And like me and my girlfriend are like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like just when he confessed to her too, he has to like, oh, I gotta like act like I don't, or she doesn't know.
Yeah.
And the phone, I was like, wow, what a genius for that.
Yeah, showing her that, using his notes to show like, hey, I'm trying to.
We are not dating.
Yeah. But no, that scene was insane. And honestly, the entire third act was really good. Because once they got in their little fight and she finds out that he's Gary and not Ron, and he finds out that she's the killer, and he goes back to the police department and they're coming up with this whole idea. Talk about tension. Yeah. The tension was peak right there.
Well, like, after he finds out she killed her ex, Ray. Yeah. Why did he, like, tell her that, oh, I'm not that guy? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I was just in disbelief. I was like, this is the worst time to admit
I've never killed a man.
You haven't killed anyone, guy.
And then she goes, who the fuck is Gary? I'm Gary. No, it's listed as a comedy, I believe, on Netflix, but the comedy was really good, too.
And it wasn't too much.
No, it wasn't over the top.
Like,
it just
perfectly... comedy.
And that's how most of Linklater's movies that have comedy, like School of Rock.
Yes.
You talk about a movie that's so good and fits comedy in so well. Dazed and Confused is another one of my all-time favorites. It's just Linklater. This movie was really nice because it felt like Glenn Powell and Arona had a lot of freedom almost in like improv and stuff. And I heard they did. Yeah. But then you got the direction from Linklater, who is okay with them taking over the reins if need be. And I just felt like it all worked out. It was a perfect equation to make a really good movie.
I feel like that's what determines like a great director. Like he gives the people the script and he's like, hey, like if you have like a feeling we should go this route, go ahead.
Yeah. But I got to give a shout out in the good to Linklater. Once again, great direction. He helped write this one too. I believe it was written by him and Powell. Yeah,
Powell was a producer.
Yeah, they produced and wrote it together. So shout out to both of them because it was very well written. It was very entertaining, very funny. But yeah, that scene was hilarious, tense, and just well done. And then it takes us into the ending, and the ending also was not a letdown. I thought the ending was really good. No. Getting to see down the road a little bit as Gary is now a new man. Yeah. Married to his sweetheart, and they have some secrets that they'll take to the grave, but they have their kiddos, and it was just that happy ending.
They found like a clever way to like not announce like, yeah, your mom thought I was a hitman. Like, or she changed who I became or something.
She made me a new man.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you like the pie? All pie's good pie.
All pie's good pie.
No, it was really, really good. The soundtrack was fun. It seemed to pop in very fun moments with like an oldie love song type of feel. Just again, something I love with Linklater's movies is the vibe, and we got that vibe once again.
Oh, we were catching a vibe for sure.
Yep. Love that little plug there. Another good is the theme. And I think that theme is just the tone that even the hottest, most normal person has demons, has secrets.
For sure.
And obviously we see that in full effect as this movie plays out, and it makes him a different man. But I thought that was really well done. I thought the set design was good. Again, just going along with the vibe, from the outside of the Virgo's bar to right outside the ice cream stand, like to the neon use, to, the police, the court. All of it was really well done.
Yeah. Dude, when he pulled a gun on Ray, I was like, holy shit. Is he about to pop him right now?
That's what I thought too.
Because did you look at his eyes? Like, he looked like, oh, I'm ready to do this.
Dude, and, going back to the acting, when you find out Ray's dead, the face acting from Glenn Powell, it almost looks like his heart actually sank. Yeah. Yeah. And he's acting, and it was so good. Glenn Powell will forever get kudos from me because I think he's an up and rising star. I'm really excited to see him in Twisters. Yeah. I think he's, I think he's going to be, even if that movie isn't as great as you want it to be, I think he's going to blow us away.
He might be the 2024 Austin Butler. After Austin Butler did Elvis, he's getting big roles now. And he's getting Dune too. He was great in that.
Bike Rider's coming out in like a week and a half. So, Glenn Powell's the man, dude.
Yeah.
I'm loving him. He's usually my favorite part of any movie he's in. Top Gun Maverick, he's not my favorite part of the movie, but he was a really, really, really good supporting character.
Yeah. You kind of like hate him at first because he's like a jerk, then like, oh, he saves them.
Yeah,
so.
Ends up being the friend.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was just a really good story. We talked about it a little bit before we started recording. It was fresh.
Yeah. Different story, we're getting all of these remakes and we haven't got like a story like this.
Yeah.
And it was a good comedy.
Yeah.
I'm liking that comedies are becoming like the early 2000s again.
Yeah.
Because those are probably like my favorite types of movies. Movies that aren't too serious, you just lay back, enjoy it.
And then, you consider it a rom-com, but when the com's the heavier side of that, that's when it's usually really good, like Wedding Crashers.
Yeah.
A rom-com.
One of my favorite movies
of all time. But the com is obviously more apparent. Like Anyone But You, I think the rom was a little more apparent.
Yeah, that's definitely like 70-30 rom. This is probably
like this one. I would even say there's more thrilling than the romance element to it. I mean, yes, we get like a few. It's like a small scenes here and there, but
a good 5 minutes of sexy.
But overall, like there was a good mix of comedy, thriller, and the romance almost took a backseat to both that and fit really well. And I think that's why I liked it so much. Rom-coms can sometimes be overwhelming when the rom's thrown up all over you.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I don't want to watch 50 Shades of Grey.
Don't get me wrong, I'm a sucker for a good rom-com, but this was a really good one.
Yeah.
I think adding that thrilling element with his double life.
You don't really see that too, by the way.
No. It was a good mix. Is there anything else that stuck out in the good for you?
Just the chemistry between Ron and Maddie was great.
Yeah.
I will say the chemistry between them two was so much better than Glenn and Sydney.
Yeah, and I thought they had good chemistry. I thought Sydney was at her best, because you know how I am. You know my opinion on Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Immaculate. I've heard that she was fantastic in that, so I need to give that a chance, and I need to maybe amend my ill feelings towards her, but I don't think she's really ever been that great of an actress. I also haven't seen Euphoria, but
she's good at Euphoria too.
I'm more of a movie guy.
Absolutely.
But in Anyone But You, she was at her best when her and Glenn were together.
For sure.
But yes, I definitely agree that the chemistry here, and I've heard that just these two and Linklater just all connected immediately. And you could feel it.
Yes,
feel that they all
absolutely. There was no drama behind the scenes. Everybody just seems like, let's make a great movie. Yeah. That's what it felt like.
But honestly, the chemistry all the way around was really good. I felt like Glenn Powell had great chemistry with his friends in the van, and he had a little flash with his ex-wife, and that was an interesting scene. But honestly, like, it seems like Glenn Powell, and I can't attest to this because I've never gotten to it, seems like he's really easy to work with.
Yes, it does. It seems like he's like the most likable guy on set.
But it at least shows in every movie he's in that you get that feeling that he's a good dude and fun to work with.
And I haven't heard any bad things about working with Glenn Powell.
Everything I've heard of him, like, that's come out in the background or the behind the scenes, I've heard is shining.
Yeah.
So.
I want to talk about the one scene where I think he's Ron. He's doing a hitman job, and like the two cops in the van were like, Gary sucks, but Ron, I'd have a drink with Ron.
Sounds like you'd sleep with Ron.
Yeah,
I would sleep with Ron.
I would.
When he thinks they hung up, that's the moment I feel like he realized, okay,
let's push Gary to the side. Yeah.
And he had just had that conversation with his ex-wife about how he couldn't be boring anymore.
Yeah.
Like, so it all kind of just like flipped a switch, and then Ron got the girl.
Yeah.
And Ron stood up to the guy, and then Ron stood up in court, and he's like, I'm liking Ron. And then it ended up being scary there for a second. Ron
even one of his students was like, when did the professor get hot?
Yeah. I love the beginning when he was like, you gotta live life, and the one guy goes, coming from the guy driving a Honda Civic or whatever he said. But it's funny to see. It was really good character arc. It was really cool to see Gary Johnson just grow, and it was cool to see that this movie was in honor of a real Gary Johnson, that was a professor at the University of New Orleans or New Orleans University, and was an undercover cop and busted all these people and got all these arrests.
I couldn't believe it's a true story.
Yeah. And obviously they said like the murders were fictionalized to make
that's
the movie.
Hollywood. Yeah. They do that with 90% of movies.
To make this movie for somebody. That was pretty cool. That's later, man.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you have for the good? I mean, most of the movies in the good.
Yeah, most of it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll hop over to the meh. The big thing I'd put in the meh, and it's not really a knock on the movie itself, and I know Linklater wanted this, it should have got a theater release.
I 100% agree. I don't think I saw a trailer for the movie.
No, I found out about this by looking at IMDb's release calendar for June on May 31st to set up my content.
Yeah.
That's how I found out about this. I found out this movie 9 days before it released.
I saw it Friday on Netflix. I'm like, I'll give it a shot. That's all.
And I get it. It when you look at the poster, it gives you similar vibes to the type of movie that The Fall Guy is. Yeah. And you look at The Fall Guy getting great scores, but it bombed at the box office.
Did it?
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it.
Got low money numbers. It was just one of those movies that people weren't going to the theaters for. Yeah. And so it's hard. It was probably hard to argue, like, this gets a theater release when something like that did that. Right. So it didn't help its case. That's how I looked at it. But, man, this movie would have been awesome on the big screen.
I agree. It would have been a great date night.
And I watched it on my TV downstairs and had a good time with it. But I was like, man, if this TV was just 20 times bigger and like the sound
the theater just makes movies so much better. Yeah. It really does.
Enhances the watch experience for sure. Yeah. But I still had a great time watching it, but man.
For sure.
We were talking about a little bit before we recorded, another movie, Prey was another movie I thought of that went straight to Hulu and this got a limited release, but it deserved a worldwide release. Yeah. Prey was another one that I was like, that should have got a theater release. And there are movies that come straight to streaming. I'm like, why wasn't this in theaters?
I know.
But
Hustle, I think, Adam Sandler has that deal with Netflix, but damn well that should have been in theaters. Yeah.
And then there's movies going to theaters, and I'm like, this should have been straight to streaming. Yeah.
I don't even think this movie should have been made, some of them.
Yeah. But that's why I'm really happy that Shudder's getting a little love with Late Night with the Devil and A Violent Nature both getting a theater release. Mm-hmm. That made me happy. Yeah. Because they're shining a little bit of love on those low-budget horror movies. Yeah. That will eventually be on Shudder. Mm-hmm. But let them get a little run in the theaters. Let them make a little money. But this definitely, it's hard to, say it's a knock on the movie. So I'm putting it in the meh because this is more on like shame on the theaters.
Right, yeah. But for not picking the movie up,
this
for sure.
Obviously doesn't impact its score, but this should have had a theater release. Yeah. Actual meh for me in the movie though, the pacing at the beginning. It was a little choppy because I felt like it got really repetitive with them showing him as the various hitmen. Yeah. And it was cool to see him in different ranges, but they probably could have stopped after like 3, maybe 4, and it would have had the same effect. But they kept going with that for like 10 different hitmen.
I think they just wanted to show off Glenn Powell's acting.
Yeah, and that's fair too.
I really do.
But like it ended up making it almost a 2-hour runtime, and I'm like, you could have made this an hour 40, hour 30 maybe if you cut some of that out.
If it was an hour and 30, this movie maybe would have been like almost a 9 for me.
Yeah, but it didn't kill the movie for me by any means. No. I definitely throw it in the meh because it was still fun to watch. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, man, this could have really opened up the pacing a little better. Right. Once the second act starts though, it's balls to the walls. It is. Like once the romance starts, that's when the thrill and action and more.
It's like a fun, intense movie. Like it's not too like thrilling, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. When he finds out Maddie killed Ray, it's like, oh my god, what's going to happen next? Yeah. And you're glued to your fucking bed. Yeah.
Man, it's hard to even think of anything else.
I truly don't think there's like anything bad.
No,
like I couldn't think of it. Bad. I was even watching guys talk about the movie on TikTok, and nobody had anything bad to say.
Another meh I guess I would throw in there is the little stint with the ex-wife. I get why it was there, but I wish we got more. Maybe like maybe take out some of the 30 hitmen and add a little more substance there. But again, like what we got fit within the story.
All we got was, hey, you were super boring. That's why I divorced your ass.
Yeah. Maybe start the movie with like
seeing why he became
I don't know
who he is.
I don't know.
I get it
but
for sure.
It was a great movie, man. Mm-hmm. It was really good. Again, I wish it was in theaters, but I'm glad I got to see it.
Yeah. Me too.
So we can hop over to our final thoughts and ratings then. What do you want to leave off with Hitman, and what do you give this movie out of 10?
I have an actor comp for Glenn Powell.
Yeah?
He's the new Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
Every girl loves him. Yeah. Every guy's like, that dude fucks.
And it's funny because Ryan Gosling's still doing it.
I know, but like
it's crazy to think that like Ryan Gosling's been around for 20 plus years because he doesn't seem old.
How old is Ryan Gosling?
I mean, he's got probably in his 40s.
Yeah. Glenn Powell's he's almost like 40.
He's got to be in his 30s, I imagine.
But like that late acting career.
Because I mean, what Gosling? When did The Notebook come out? Was it like 2003?
Remember the Titans was before,
99
right?
Or 2000. Was that 99 or 2000?
It might be 99.
I mean, that means he's been acting for 24, 25 years.
Crazy.
And that I don't even know if Remember the Titans was his first movie. That's the first movie I remember him being in.
Yeah, for me too.
But yeah, I mean, Ryan Gosling's been doing it for a minute. He's still the man. Fall. If you haven't seen it yet, dude, The Fall Guy is awesome.
That's the next movie I want to
watch. The Fall Guy might be my favorite movie of the year right now.
Really?
Yeah.
That's high praise.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to watch it.
It's a good-ass movie, dude.
I just watched Dune 2 for the first time.
That's another good-ass movie.
Yeah. I'm not as high as you guys, but it's still...
It's a slow burn.
Yeah,
it's a slow burn.
For sure.
But it's a spectacle for sure. It's a science fiction epic.
I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good. I was going to say, what do you give this one?
I'm going to give it a 8.1.
8.1?
Slides in the 8s for me.
Okay.
I think if, they shave off 15 minutes and I saw it in theaters, could have been like a 8.6.
Yeah.
I really like the movie.
Yeah.
It's super fun movie. It was a pleasant surprise because I wasn't looking forward to it. And I was like, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah. I was looking forward to it for 10 days. So, like, it's hard to say, like, I was anticipating this movie big time. Because I found out about it, like, May 31st.
Yeah.
But I was excited because I saw Linklater, I saw Glenn Powell, and, both have never let me down. Mm-hmm. And I wasn't let down. I'd give this one, like, an 8.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite Linklater, but it was still a really good time.
Yeah.
It captured his vibes. It, shines another light on Glenn Powell. I'm excited to see Twisters. I'm excited to see what comes after Twisters. Yeah. And like you said, it was a good time.
Mm-hmm. Everybody's saying, Glenn Powell's going to be the next rom-com superstar.
Yeah.
And I totally see it, dude.
Yeah, and what you said, it's a good date night. I mean, Netflix and chill, bring it back here in 2024.
2024, kid.
But it is, it's got that element of rom-com to it that is good for a date night, but it also has the thriller element that makes the guys like it a little more.
Yeah,
but,
right.
No, it's a great movie.
It is.
8 out of 10. But yeah, man, excited to see again what Glenn Powell does because he's just been a standout so far.
He's becoming one of my favorites right now.
For sure. It's crazy to think, everybody was going to Anyone But You, and I know you were in the same boat, like, you have a crush on Sydney Sweeney. Everybody, and I left the theater, I was like, Glenn Powell, man. Yeah. I was like, what the hell's going on?
What the hell?
He stole the show.
Yeah.
But no.
No, for sure. Like, it opened, I feel like a lot of guys I seen, this Glenn Powell dude, he can really act.
And he's funny.
He's funny, yes.
That's the big thing. If you can just have that good comedic punch.
He's kind of like Chris Hemsworth to me. Like, he doesn't try to overly be funny, but he's just naturally funny.
Yeah. I mean, that's how Ryan Gosling is, too.
Yeah.
I feel like
those two guys, for sure.
In Fall Guy, their characters almost feel very similar.
Really?
In these two movies.
I gotta watch Fall Guy.
Got
to. I wanted to so bad.
I mean, Ryan Gosling and Barbie, he's the comic relief in that. He's usually comic relief in everything he's in.
Yeah.
He's funny. The Nice Guys is one of my favorite Ryan Gosling
movies. A good one.
Oh, so funny. But now we're getting off track again. Just talking
rambling
about
right
our actor
now.
crushes. But
Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney for me.
Glenn Powell and Ryan Gosling for me.
Yeah.
That'll do it for Hitman. Drew, thank
Willy,
you, brother, for coming on.
Of course.
Thank you all for watching. If you like what you're watching, please check out some of these other videos. Hit the subscribe button or follow the social links also down there. Once again, check out Catching a Vibe if you haven't already. It's a good time as well.
Thank you.
And again, thank you all for watching, and we will talk to you all soon. Peace.